All of you are seniors, right? You seniors? Okay. So in a couple of months, you're going to be free. You know, you got your whole life in front of you. And I hope by now you have some hopes and plans and dreams of what you want to be and what you want to become as adults. But you know, the secret to this is only you. Only you can determine what you will become. The next hour, this next 45 minutes or so, could be the most important hour you spend in a long time. Tom Hendrix is a living example of how to become successful by following your dreams. He grew up one of 9 children during the Depression, which you know is the worst economic situation we've ever had in this country. Grew up on a small farm. And at age 13, behind a pair of plowing mules, barefooted, with his hands on these plow handles, did he ever think that he could pay his way through college by selling Bibles? At age 13, did he ever think that every year in college he would drive a brand new car? At age 13, looking at the backside of those mules, did he ever think that he could build 2 large companies that would employ hundreds of people and provide service to thousands of people across this country? At 13, barefooted, did he think that someday he'd be able to donate to UT Martin to set up a chair of excellence in free enterprise? You know, he probably didn't think that. That chair ensures that the University of Tennessee will always teach the free enterprise system, which we're part of, the greatest economic engine in the world. Most people, after they do all that, retire at age 65, but not Tom. He and his wife, Sherry, who's sitting back there, opened Henco Furniture. Now understand, they had no experience in furniture and they had no experience in the retail business. But within a few years, hundreds of people every week were driving from 6 different states past hundreds of other furniture stores to shop at Henco. Well, all that success, that wasn't his top priority. His top priority in life, he and Sherry's top priority in life, was to raise their 2 daughters to be productive people who give back to the community. And now with his 7 grandkids, he's teaching the kids, his grandkids, to live by his philosophy. And his philosophy is help other people grow to their full potential by rendering service to others. Today, Mr. Hendrix is here to share his vision of how to help you achieve your dreams. So, without further ado, I'd like for you to give him a big welcome, Tom Hendrix.
Good morning. You've got a lot of people in this class, haven't you? We're here really to celebrate your upcoming graduation. Graduating from high school is pretty special. You've worked hard, you've done well, and you wouldn't be here this morning. And I'd extend to you my warmest congratulations. Whether you have the lowest grades in this class or the highest grades in this class, you haven't scratched the surface to your greatness. Your wider vision of yourself is yet to be realized. Your God-given potential is yet to be developed. To reach high goals, you've got to acquire the mindset of a high achiever. The high achievers see things differently. They see opportunities at every turn of the road. They take advantage of those opportunities to reach their goal. These high achievers are going someplace, and they seize the opportunities to take them along the way. Have you ever thought, maybe God didn't bless me with as much potential as He did somebody else? I hope not. There's not a person here this morning that's not blessed with more God-given potential than you could ever develop in this lifetime. There's no shortage of potential. The problem is we don't develop it many times. Why do people not develop the potential? I'll give you a couple of 3 reasons. They don't have goals. They don't have a plan. And they just are ambling along. They really don't know where they're going because they don't have a plan. And their God-given potential is buried in the cemetery at the end of the day. What a waste. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that your future is in your own hands? If it's to be, it's up to me. Wherever you're standing 20 years from now will be the exact spot that your decisions have placed you. How many of your decisions will be positive? How many will be negative? It's not so much of what happens to you. It's how you react to what happens. Along life's pathway, you're going to be passed off a lot of lemons. You can take that lemon and squeeze it with self-pity, or you can make lemonade out of it. And I see this class as lemonade makers. God is not in the business of picking winners and losers. He wants every single one of you to knock that ball over the fence in service to the American people. He gave you free will to make a mess out of your life or to make something out of it. If it's to be, it's up to you. Are you willing to pay the price for success? Folks, there is a price to be paid for success, and I can vouch for it. But there's a much bigger price to be paid for failure. You don't get anything out of it but a mundane life living paycheck to paycheck. Nobody wants to live like that. The key is choosing the great opportunities. Choosing a great opportunity is like planting a seed and watch that seed grow into a full-grown, beautiful tree. Now, I want, if I can, to dramatize to you the difference in a great opportunity and a mundane opportunity. Now, in about 30 days, I will have completed 86 years on this earth. I'll be going into my 87th year. And so I want you to go back with me to the Great Depression back in the 30s, when over 25% of the people in the country were unemployed. A lot of families in this country simply didn't have enough food on the table. Now, I was reared out there on that little farm, a family of 9 children. And the way we coped with the Great Recession is this. We'd get up early, go to the field as young children and work all day long. We would come in the evening and find our seat alongside this long dining table. My father had the 3rd grade education, but he was smart. He constantly taught across that table ideas and values that he thought would help us live a successful life. I'm going to mention 2. He would say to us, "Kids, I know it's hot out there in the field and the days are long, but I want you to know that work is an honorable thing to do. It's the way we do our good in life. It's the way our food made its way to the table this evening. I want you to always have a great attitude towards your work." The other thing he would say is that as you grow up here on the farm, we will constantly give you more and more responsibility. And when you leave this farm, I want you to leave as a responsible person. It's your life, it's your responsibility. Should you want to go to college, we'll be in your cheering section, but we won't pay the bill. We rear you kids to stand on your own 2 feet and make out of your life what you wish. We'll be in your cheering section. Well, I didn't go to college first year out of school, but along the way I decided I better further my education, and I'd gotten out of school, worked 2 jobs, bought a brand new car. I had wheels. Drove in on the UTM campus. It was only 500 students there. And I promise you, I didn't have a problem getting a parking space. There were very few cars on that campus. But I knew I had to find a way to pay the bills. And I was there to study agriculture to one day to be an ag teacher. So the boys studying ag, most all of them worked on a UT farm, feeding hogs and what have you, 50 cents an hour. I thought, my goodness, I got to do better than that. So I decided I would sell Bibles. When school was out, we went up north. We'd start knocking on those doors at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'd knock on those doors until 8 that evening. I met all the folks behind the door. Some were nice, some were not so nice. I kind of got off to a rocky start. But after a while, I got the hang of it. And I could persuade those people to my point of view. I could make that Bible come alive in their mind so they could see the value of having it in their home to teach their children to live a better life. I sold a lot of Bibles. I came back on the UT campus. I was full of enthusiasm, and I had gained communicative skills that I was darn proud of. And I bought another new car. I had $2,500 in my pocket. Now, students at that particular time, you could go to the University of Tennessee for $1,000, pay everything. I had over twice enough. I sold this and that going through school, but my main objective was to sign up 26 of the most capable people on that campus to go with me the following summer. I'd get a commission out of their sales and over double my income. So I signed up those star players, those 26 guys. When school was out, we went up into Indiana, and I settled in counties around. I took a center county and went to a little university. Got a room. Now, they would drive in on Sunday for the sales meeting, and I would stand before those 26 guys and teach the how of selling Bibles. Motivate, inspire, furnish leadership to them learning how to sell Bibles so they could get back on campus and pay the way. We had a fantastic summer. We had the top crew in the Southwestern Company. We all came back on campus, and they had gone through a life-changing summer. And I certainly had gone through a life-changing summer, teaching salesmanship that I had never taught before, inspiring people to be successful. So we all came back on campus. Believe it or not, I bought another new car. And so selling Bibles just really changed my life. And I gained the communicative skills, the confidence, the people knowledge that I used to build a national business. I was the only person in ag that sold Bibles. They all fed hogs at 50 cents an hour. Why? Fear. They were afraid that they would fail, and they fed hogs. Students, if your decisions are based on fear, you will never go for the great opportunities. To go for the great opportunities, your decisions must be based on faith, hope, and belief in self. And if you're not going to believe in yourself, who will? You got to be a good decision maker. Now, the money was great, but that wasn't the real value. Selling Bibles became the centerpiece of my education, and it changed my life. My senior year was a special year. It was when I had to decide what Tom Hendrix would be about in the future. And I got to thinking, if I could do what I've done in college, I can build a national business, render my service throughout the nation. The more I thought about that, the more excited I got. I looked at the free enterprise and business. What would it be like? Now, I've never had a business course, so this is my common sense definition of business free enterprise. It's a free people in competition with each other to see who can do the best job for the American people, to see who can render the best service. Now, the American people are the judge of our service. And if they don't ring our cash register with their support, we go out of business. The American people prune off those that fail to serve. I thought, wow, if that's not freedom at its best, I would be in competition to see if I could do the best job for the American people. I said, that's my arena, a life of service to the American people. Sherry Lynn and I were getting married, so I told her, I've had some pretty good job offers here on campus, pretty high paying, but I don't want a job. I'm not interested in that. I want to build a business, and I got a life to give to it. She said, well, that's fine with me. I said, Sherry, you don't understand. This is going to be a sloppy trip. The ups and downs that we will have, there'll be times we can't probably pay our house rent. This is going to test us to the limit. Students, we lived in basement apartment, we sacrificed, we did without, we paid the price for 7 years before the sun peeped through the cloud. And I had found an idea that I could build a business. Where did I find it? School fundraising. I was looking for an idea that I could turn into a national effort. I went into the schools. Now, this is going back 55 or 60 years ago. What were they selling? Garden seed. Some were selling candy. They'd work on those programs a month, and the profit was left over in the back room. As I looked at the situation, school after school, I said, I can organize this and make fundraising good for schools. And my mission will be to upgrade fundraising in this country. So, Sherry Lynn and I borrowed $3,500 from a Selmer bank. Rented a little building for $20 up in Bethel. Now, my only product was one bottle of all-purpose cleaner. Remember, I started with $3,500. I mixed it in a barrel over in the corner. And after several years, we made it down into the industrial park and built out 300,000 square feet of commercial building, created a trucking line that run through the nation to deliver the merchandise to the schools, a sales force of 200 people that would almost average a master's degree. And in one 3-year period, starting with the $3,500, we paid over $6 million in income taxes. In today's dollars, that would be over $12 million, starting with $3,500. Now, Sherry Lynn and I had sacrificed a lot. We'd paid the price, so I told Sherry, it's time to adjust our standard of living. So we did just that. Now, I don't tell you this, students, to be braggadocious, but you've seen how much you put into building a business, and so I want you to see the other side of the coin. We had a beautiful yacht on the Tennessee River, and we took 2 trips on that yacht of over 5,500 miles. We were in the Bahamas, we were in Canada, we were in New York, Chicago. We saw much of this country from the water's edge. We had a turbojet at the airport to take us where we needed to go. For 10 years straight, we went up the Tennessee River to the ball game. We webbed our way through those mountains. So we lived a wonderful life. But I want to make a point to you. What was our mission? Upgrade fundraising in the country. And because we did that and rendered a beautiful service, the money flowed in. Where does the money belong? In the tool chest with the rest of the tools. The money tool in the tool chest is a wonderful thing. It enables you to live an exciting life with your family. You can help a person here and there in need. You can do all kind of wonderful things for your community because you've got the money tool in your tool chest. I suggest each one of you render enough service to your fellow man to have the money tool in your tool chest, to live the good life and be helpful to those around. What am I most proud of? At my age, I'm looking back over my life. I can tell you some things I'm proud of. I'm proud I had the strength of purpose to knock on those doors from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 that evening. I'm proud of that. It changed my life. I'm proud that Sherilyn and I believed in our goal enough that we'd spend 7 years sacrificing to reach our goal. I'm proud of that. The other thing I'm just really proud of, as an entrepreneur for 55 years, all the paychecks I've been able to pass out that 55 years. I remember going in this boardroom one day, looking at the financial statement. I looked down to the bottom. We had 983 people on the payroll. And I learned early on that a paycheck is a golden passport to the American dream. It enables a family to go to the grocery store, pay the doctor bill, send the kids to school, take those wonderful vacations. The people that are sitting here this morning, there's no telling how many businesses you'll create. Now, you don't know that now. And one day you'll be proud that you can pass out the golden passports to the American dream. The future belongs to those people that prepare for it. The little swallow starts flapping its wings, it flies across the ocean to the same neighborhood that it built its nest the year before. Now that little bird flew on God's plan. God put that in that little bird's DNA. It caused it to find that same neighborhood that it did the year before. Now your plan will not be that accurate, but you gotta have a plan. And as you go along, you gain experience, you see further, and you can always adjust your plan. I want you to leave this school as a need filler. Regardless of what occupation you wind up in, the needs of the American people will constantly be changing. And you've got to change too. 2 examples. When the computers came in, there was a typewriter on every desk. They were in the homes, they were everywhere. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were manufacturing typewriters, selling typewriters, maintaining typewriters. The American people said to all those people, we've got computers, we don't need any more typewriters. Kodak Company had 170,000 people on their payroll. The American people said to those people, we've got digital cameras. We don't need any more film cameras, and threw all those people out of work. Is that a good thing? Yes, because it's the way we make our progress. You don't want to make a typewriter if nobody's going to use it. You're a need filler. You're the most fortunate generation that's ever lived. You've got more tools in your tool chest than any group that's ever before. You got a cell phone, you got a computer on your desk, and the list goes on. You've got the tools to really live an abundant life. Be glad that you're standing in your shoes. You're fortunate. They tell us that there will be 1,000 times more advancements in the 21st century than there were the 20th century. 20th century was pretty good. We went to the moon. We created all kinds of technology, computers and what have you. But the 21st century, your century, they tell us we'll have 1,000 times more advancement. Think about the change that's going to bring on. I'll share this with you. I went to Nashville the other day, and I put my down payment down on a new Tesla. Now, that's the battery car. So I asked Shirley, and I said, now, let's go out and test the car. So we did. And the guy said, now, I'll start out driving, and then I'll turn it over to you. I said, okay. So we started down the ramp to get on I-65. He stopped. He said, I want to demonstrate to you the fastest car in the world. I want you to lay your head back on the headrest and do not move it. He mashed down. It's a four-wheel drive. He mashed down on it. I've never had a sensation like that. It started moving up to my head. Shirley and started screaming, and we'd passed 60 miles an hour. In 2.5 seconds. Now, I've had cars that do it in 5 or 6, but this thing in 2.5 seconds. I said, wow, that's fast. So we went on down on I-65, running 70 miles an hour, cars, trucks all the way around us, and the guy said, well, I'm going to let the car take over. I'm going to hit the autonomous button. He did. And that car was picking its way through all that traffic, 70 miles an hour. It had a screen in the dash that I could see 360 around the car, everything that surrounded the car. It projected 2 blue lines out in front, the path it was taking. And nobody was driving the car. How about that? That's the world you're going to live in, people. Next 10 to 15 years, a good part of the cars will be battery powered, and they will be autonomous. A few more years, just about all will be autonomous. That's the world you're going to live in. Isn't that exciting? That's pretty exciting if you ask me. Online shopping will be the rule of the day. And your workstation, regardless of what you do, is going to be laced with technology. There's a robot invasion going on in this country. I read the other day there's like 70 or 100,000 openings. They need techs to take care of the robots. They're not behaving themselves. The robots is manufacturing that Tesla. Your workstation is going to be pretty sophisticated. You've got to prepare yourself to do the work in the marketplace. Get as much technology as you can. You need to be tech savvy. And you also need to load up on those math courses. Take the tough ones. And you need to learn how to communicate. You can't mumble your way to success, people. If you're going to be a leader and go for those great opportunities, you've got to learn how to communicate. Those are pretty important things. You can reinvent yourself as many times as you want with online education. Online education is going to upend traditional education. It's going to be the most quality. In the future, it's going to be cheap. In closing, I saved the best for last. And that's this. You must have a moral tone to your life. If you have a moral tone to your life, you'll live a happy life. You'll feel good inside, and you'll be a lot more successful. Christ came, gave us some pretty common sense advice, if you ask me, and I'm going to paraphrase. He said something like this. He said, you folks are not going to do to suit each other. You're going to do dumb things, make mistakes, do things you shouldn't do. You need to get good at forgiving people. Wash out your system for a new beginning. He also said, you know, when you practice love, you always get good results. You practice hate, greed, and selfishness, you create all kind of problems. He summed it up by saying, do your best to live by the golden rule. Treat your fellow man as you'd like to be treated. Think what kind of world we'd have if we could just do that. That'd be great, wouldn't it? I hope these kind of values will be your guiding light. You need to set an example. And if you're not, who will? Beacon of light for those others to follow. What a difference this class can make. You're going to climb mountains you never dreamed, I promise you. There's high achievers in this room. You're going to make a difference. And if you're going to ring that bell, give that rope a hell of a pull. If you'll practice these ideas that I've laid out, the floodgates of abundance will open up and pour over you greater than you ever dreamed possible. And I wish you a rich, full life, full of love and bell ringing. Folks, I've enjoyed it, and live a good life.
Everybody gets a copy of the book.